Madhava Gunjavihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunathera Chari Jamunathera Vanachari Jayaradhama Dava Kunjabi Hari Jayaradhama Dava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Anjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Anjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Anjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Anjana Jamunathera Vanachari Jamunathera Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Jaya Goranita, 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 Jaya Goranita, Jaya Gorahari, Jaya Gorahari, Gorahari, Jaya Gorahari, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Sila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Sila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hare Ba, Hare Ba, Hare Ba, Ba Hare Ba. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotra Sisima, the Divine Grace and the Bhakti, Vedanta, Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotra Sisima, the Divine Grace and the Bhakti, Siddhanta, Saraswati Thakur, Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavina Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहाओ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि से गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपाल गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुर धाम की जय। अयोध्या धाम की जय। गंगा माँ यमुना माँ की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी देवी भक्त देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्त बिन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। Our glories to the summer devotees. Our glories to the summer devotees. Our glories to the summer devotees. Our glories to Sisi Gora and Goranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So welcome everyone to this evening garden here in Pula. I've heard of Pula for some years, and this is my great fortune to be here in Pula. I'm happy to meet with all of you. So the topic of our discussion, what? Srimas, what is the topic again?
Sorry.
Huh? For community? Okay. Okay, so the topic of our discussion is cooperation for community development. Oma Gyana Timirandasya, Gyana Jana Salakaya, Saksul Militam, Jena Tasmai, Si Gurave Namaha. Si Chaitanya Manobistam, Stafetam, Jena Bhutale, Swayam Rupam Kadamayam, Dadati Sva Padantikam. Vancha Kalpatari Becha, Kripasunandya Evacha, Patitanam Pavinam Vaishnava. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodatu, Guru Dai Puspavantu, Chitu Chando, Tanundu. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadara, Sri Rasada, Sri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale, Semate Bhaktivedanta Swami Itinam. Namaste, Saraswati Deve, Gauravani, Pacharine, Nirvisesa Sunyavadi, Pashantam, Disatarini. So, cooperation is very important. Everybody here understands English? Okay, thank you. So, cooperation is very important in all dimensions of life. We're talking about community. The devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, we live in communities. But what does community mean? Community is derivative from two words, commune and unity. To commune implies empathically communicating your views, your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas. What is that? What's the difference? Now, when we put ourselves in the shoes of the other people or the people we are communicating with or the person we are communicating with the understanding that what I say, if they say this to me, how am I going to feel? How will I feel if they tell me this? Okay, so I'll give you a gross example. So I get some call on the phone, and then the person says, "Hey, Vasudeva, you've not been coming to the temple for a long time, and we have some work to do today. We have some service to do today. Can you come quickly and help with this service?" He is giving me a good instruction. But empathic communication here means that the person who is making this statement, who is communicating this message, should have the reverse. If Vasudeva is telling me this with this tone of language, with all his good intentions, intentions are very good, but the way he puts it is like a commanding tone. Like, I'm the boss. Hey, I want to engage you. And it's for your own good, It's for your own good. It's Christian service. So, we have to think about what we say, how we say it, and consider also who is the recipient. And then we put ourselves in that person's position. If I get talked to, if someone communicates like this to me, how will I feel? I feel great. I feel good. I feel offended. I feel minimized. I feel loved. These are the judgment criteria to use in evaluating what we say before we say it. So empathic communication is a serious thing, and communities need it. Because sometimes we say something or we communicate a message, we have good intentions, but we're not considerate about the other person's position. Or we don't understand their way of life, how they take things. In other words, the way we talk to a stranger is different from the way we talk to someone we know very well. Someone we know very well, we know if I say this, he will not like it. If I raise my voice, he will not like it. If I make it friendly, he will like it. Empathic communication requires studying the people around you and see how best you can create a positive change through your tongue. The tongue has no bone, but the tongue is like a dynamite. It's like a ballistic weapon. Because this same tongue can harmonize relations. It could also create disaster. You could also create disaster. I'll give you a typical example. Look, in America, Elon Musk, the richest man on the planet, through him, President Trump became the president. In fact, without the help of Elon Musk, it would have been very difficult. And they're very good friends. When Elon Musk says, oh, look, I will support you. I will help you with these billions of dollars in your campaign and all this. If someone comes to say, I will help you with billions of dollars in a political campaign so that you win. Oh, good. We are friends. He has not given the money yet, but then automatically it changed the dynamics. So what we say matters a lot. We say things that can create a positive change in the other person. We say things that will help the other person to understand how they are valued, how they are loved. Yes, we are giving an instruction, or we're saying something, or we're trying to ask them to do something for the community or for the temple. But the way we say it tells a lot. And therefore, when we want to say something, we have to think, if this person tells me, it says like this to me, how will I feel? It might be a child. It might be a spouse, your husband, your wife. But nobody's our maid. Whether it's your spouse, whether it's your husband, whether it's your wife, your child, is not your slave. So community begins with the family. Community begins with the family because the family is a microcosm of the community. It's a small aspect of community. Community means what? Two or more people make a community. One person cannot make a community, but two or more people can form a community. Community means They have a common purpose, a common goal. And they must share responsibility. There should be shared responsibility. That makes it a community. If one person is working so hard, the other person is just sleeping and eating, he might say, "It's my darling, 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 darling." But one day they'll be fried. They will think, "What do you think you are? You made me to do everything in the house. I'm the one working. I earn the money. I come, I cook, I wash the dishes, I clean the yard and everything, and you just sleep and eat." Yeah, people can tolerate, but community development is beyond tolerance. It's about love. I can tolerate you for the purpose of mutual coexistence. We don't want to fight, so I can tolerate you. But that's not love. Community requires loving relationships. And the other aspect of community, I was explaining about commune, how to communicate so that you don't hurt anybody's feeling. Communicate with love, loving feelings. Whether it's your child, whether it's your spouse, whether it's another devotee, we have to see how we are moderating our tone, how we are using different strategies to create an environment where the other party has a sense of belonging. This is commune. And unity means together, to work together. So community implies empathic communication for working together. What makes people to work together? Communication is the key factor. How we communicate. If in the house you wake up one day and you shout at your 12 years old son or daughter, you shout on them, they will not answer you. They will not answer you. You may say, "Well, you're my child. Why don't you answer me?" No, they just keep quiet. I don't know the situation here in Croatia, but in America, they just keep quiet and you can't do nothing. If you go beyond your boundaries, they will call the police and you're going to jail. Just because your child means what? It's not your slave. Just because it's your spouse means what? We need unity in the family. And therefore, we treat each other the way we treat our spiritual master. The way we love and serve Krishna, that is the exact way we should treat people around us, whether it's our family members, whether it is in our society, in our community. This is the way to be able to help us grow. And you see, that type of relationship creates such a loving, positive energy in the community that people come, they want to come again. But yeah, it's not about how we speak eloquently, how we're very expert at preaching. It's not about that. When people come, they feel the energies. The world is about energies. So people feel the energies that are in our communities, that are in our temple, and then that will give them an impetus to determine whether they will come again or not. So we want unity. We want to develop our communities sustainably. We have to check our tongue. In fact, the tongue is the most difficult of the working senses to deal with. There are two classes of senses: the knowledge acquiring senses and the working senses. The tongue is used for eating. It's doing some job. Oh yeah, it's doing some job. And to control the tongue is so difficult. The tongue has two purposes. We can use the tongue for eating. We can use the tongue for singing, for glorifying the Lord. We can use this tongue to glorify other devotees. The same tongue we can use to cause people, abuse people, and it may even end up in jail. This tongue. Sebo muke hi jivado. The process of devotional service even begins with the tongue. You don't need billions of dollars to build a community. The community development begins with the tongue. What we say to people will attract them to be around us. When we are harsh and hostile, they will keep away. If we say some sweet words, they'll come around. We are human beings. We have emotions. So it's not because we are trying to be spiritualists. And then, I remember, I don't want to mention the country, but I remember first time I went to one country, I went to this temple for the first time, and the temple commander was so hostile. And then I vowed never to sleep in that temple. So I still go to that country, but I never slept in that temple. So the tongue, okay? The tongue. You see, some people, like, I can give you an example of my case. I don't like fighting. The way you treat me will determine whether I'll come close to you or I will not come close to you. No fighting. If you're really abusive, no problem. I will not call the police for you. But I may not come close to you. So this is how people are in general. We treat them nicely, they come around. They want to hang out with us. They want to come to our temple when there's a program. You see, when we look at the example of Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada established this movement in New York, he was having his programs, lectures, kirtans at the 26th Second Avenue, the storefront. Any of you have been to the storefront, 26th Second Avenue? Anybody here? Okay. I used to give classes there sometimes when I'm in New York. So it's a small storefront. But Prabhupada was so lovingly disposed to these people. And they are not just, most of them were not even normal people, they were hippies. Okay, so okay, let's evaluate it. If you find hippies come into your temple hall, how will you treat them? You say, hey, this place is not for you. Wait! The Baba was very lovingly disposed. You give the lecture, after talking, they will ask questions. After that, he has some apple to eat. He will chip the apple to pieces and give pieces to all of them. Yeah, this is Prabhupada. That's how he won the heart of all of these Americans. I remember one devotee, he became a big time scholar, translated the books of the Goswamis into English and all this. He was a drug addict when he came to the storefront. So sometimes he would sleep there in the storefront, and sometimes he would just lie down across. And Prabhupada will not do anything. He will just meander like this. He will turn like this, and then be able to go out. That is where you're operating. That is your office. And someone comes to sleep like that. But because he loved them, that energy was there. He was not hostile. Prabhupada was not hostile. He saw beyond the physical body. He saw beyond the drugs. He saw beyond the bad attitudes that the people have. And so, when we begin to imbibe the proper consciousness, we can develop our communities and sustain that development in amazing ways. So that proper approach has to be there. This is how he started it by himself. Nobody. He asked people to come join him from India. No way. He's developed this society only by himself. He did that with love, empathic communication. The way he spoke, he talked. Papa even never told anybody about rules and regulations. They were just coming there, chant, give apples. If apple is there, then they go. The day they want to take initiation was when they got to know that there are rules and regulations. At that time, there is a strong bond of loving relationship already established. When you love somebody, whatever they tell you, you just want to do it and please them. So this is the strategy that Prabhupada used in developing his society. He loved the hippies. He loved the potheads. He loved the bohemians. Some of them became Goswamis, Paramahamsas. Love was the trigger. We want to develop our communities? Love. So, unity comes pretty easy. Cooperation comes pretty easy when we express and show love to people. If you show that you love me, I'll do anything for you. Anything you tell me, I'll say yes, I'll do it. But if you're hostile, I give you, and if I give you the excuses why I will not come, oh, you will sympathize with me. And sometimes I do this, because I have a lot of services, a lot of things to do. And so it's the place I don't like to go. If I give you the excuses why I don't like to go, or you will sympathize with me. Because my workload is so full. So the general mass of people are also like that. If they want to come, they will make any sacrifice to come. Let them have just one good friend in our community. People come to a place, they are impelled, they're motivated to come if they have a good friend. Because they are afraid, their friend will call them and say, such and such. Yeah, I didn't see you on Sunday. Are you okay? Your health is okay? Because they have a loving relationship with that person. So they come. So when people come to our temple, especially for the first time, we have to see how we are creating some friendly dealings. I remember, I can give you an example. I was cultivating, one time I was very active on Facebook. In fact, I was the first ISKCON Swami who used Facebook. Okay? And I made so many close to you, they want who your devotees. I stayed in some countries where this was happening. Our devotees who ran away to Gaudiya mat, they come to ISKCON and they try to woo other devotees. They come to my mat. In Birmingham, the president took all the devotees to Gaudiya mat. So, I can give you examples here and there. The best thing for us to avoid any type of unforeseen circumstances is to try to, create a congenial atmosphere where we can attract new people, fresh people, and train them up. We should go for Harinam. We should distribute purpose books. We should make some advertisements for our Sunday program on social media. And when people come, we should treat them nicely. And people will join. They will tell, see, when you treat one person nicely, it becomes like what we call in research, it has a snowballing effect. This person will tell this person, he tell this person, then he tell this person. It goes like that. So at the same time, we don't want to make enmity with anybody, whether it's a Gaudiya Math or whether it's a Muslim or Christian or whatever. But then the way to make devotees is to make fresh devotees like Prabhupada did and train them up. Yes. Well, most of the devotees, they are be like you, and you can attract them. I remember the case of one researcher. She told me a story. She is a researcher in information technology, so she was working for a research firm. And she told me a story how in the whole of our research industry, all of our professional colleagues, they knew her as someone who is spiritual, following a particular standard. But is not allowed to preach there. But you know what? One day, another researcher who is a lady who is married to a mega pastor. The pastor, the husband of this lady, has a really huge congregation, a really huge church. But the lady came to this devotee and said, I like your lifestyle. Teach me yoga. That's how she started teaching her chanting. She didn't preach. She was just planted in that office. One pious soul came up to her and she cultivated her to become a devotee. So wherever we may be, there are good souls who are around there. We should just be willing to facilitate their devotional positive change. And we should follow with the example that Papa led. He went out to conduct Harinam. Old man, he went to Thompson Square Park. Just by going out by himself, so many people followed him to the storefront. Preaching is not just a difficult thing. You don't need degrees to preach. You just do some simple thing, and some good soul, Krishna will send some good soul based on our sincerity of purpose. Yeah, so that is how we should look at some of these situations. And on the other side, on the other part of it, if the devotees who are, say, the management, if they decide on a project they want to follow to be able to bring people to the temple, if the whole decision, they agreed on what they want to do, yeah, they can try. But what I mentioned is just the elementary stage of preaching, and that is also the highest platform, because Lord Chaitanya came to establish the Sankirtan movement, and he wanted us to distribute the holy names, because this distribution of the holy names, it has a big effect, positive effect on society. Society benefits by devotees distributing the holy names of Lord Krishna. So that is the highest service. That is our job. The chanting of Mahamantra, if even we chant 108 rounds every day, is just for our own liberation, for our own purification. But when you eat so that you have strength to go to work. The japa is our eating. But we need to work to distribute the holy names. So if someone has taken initiation, we should ask ourselves, what am I doing in helping to spread the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chanting is fine. You can chant even 108 rounds. Good for you. But what are you doing to help in spreading the message, in helping Prabhupada to spread, to fulfill the desires of his spiritual master? Yes.
We have some quote, we believe what our best friend believes. And if we're looking from that perspective, best for preaching, we just need to be a friend of people. We have to be a best friend
Sure.
to people.
Yeah.
And that's people will start to loving us, asking more questions. How are you? How you live? Why you chanting? And
Yeah.
that.
That's so true. And Prabhupada, he did that. He created friendly relationship, loving relationship with even those bohemians and hippies and potheads. Sometimes someone will see even people who are like addicts, drug addicts, someone will just from nowhere bring something to Prabhupada. Because they think he's doing so much for us, he's giving us knowledge, and he's so fatherly. Relationships. We should build good relationship with people, and they will come close to us. They will like to be like us. Whether it's in the family, at work, in our communities. Yeah. Any other last question? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Yes, please.
Thank you, Maharaj.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming here with us. So, about shared leadership and shared decision making. Let's say, hypothetically, we are trying to develop that, and a person or persons will argue that to someone else that not everyone is capable or qualified to be a member who will do a shared decision making or do shared leadership. This I see as a challenge. Then they can tell us, they will say like, or you don't look as on, for example, you don't have Vaishnava clothes, or or you have a beard, or you have or you are not showing so much here as I would like you to be showing up. So you
I'll listen to you.
Yeah, I only you are not, for me, you are not qualified to be in this community of decision making.
Yeah.
You should first listen to me, and then after some time you can come and make decisions. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put it on.
No, I understand your point. I understand your point.
The talk is very nice, but let's make it practically.
Yeah. You see, if you ask any manager in ISKCON or leader in ISKCON, what is the leadership model you're using in governing? Try this. Just ask Mr. President.
Sorry, I didn't follow.
If try this experiment. Any leader in ISKCON, any manager in ISKCON, say maybe GBC, regional director, a temple president, or whatever, ask them, what is the leadership model that you're using? Because faith-based non-profits like ISKCON, there are specific leadership models that are used for sustainability and high performance and productivity. See, right now, we don't have Raja Rishis in our movement. I know I'm not a Raja Rishi. I may have a PhD, but I'm not a Raja Rishi. Even the Raja Rishis, they consult with top-class Brahmins. Even Lord Ramachandra had a jury who were working with him. But as a Supreme Lord, does he need that? He doesn't need it. He could just be a dictator. But he didn't. And Lord Ramachandra is Maria the Purushotama. He came to set the rules for leadership. See, I studied leadership to PhD level. That's my degree. So, there are a number of things we need to implement as a faith-based non-profit, and collective decision making is one of them. Because sometimes, see, we have so much of talent in our movement. You know what we lack? Talent managers. If you ask anybody about talent management, even the topmost people who are the topmost leaders, they may not even know what is talent management. But Papa was a great talent manager. He didn't go to a management school to get a master's degree or a PhD in management, but he was a great talent manager. Look at his life, how he engaged the artists, those who can draw nicely, to draw Krishna's photos for his Krishna book. The scientists, he set up a Bhakti Vedanta Institute so that they can utilize their scientific brains in creating a sustainable future with other scientists. You see, it is so difficult to manage volunteers who are not being paid. Volunteers who are not being paid. It's more difficult to manage volunteers who are not being paid than to manage a Fortune 500 company, because the volunteer is not being paid. And so there are ways to deal with the volunteers. And one of those ways is to make them have a sense of belonging. You make someone to have it, and shared decision making is just one of those strategies for enabling a sense of belonging. Say your family, you have a wife, and you come, okay, assuming you are the breadwinner, you providing the money. She's a housewife, and you are a dictator. You will not find cooperation. But if you adopt that system where you understand that marriage means 50-50, you have equal rights and justice. And if even you know better than her, you call her. My darling, I'm thinking like this. What do you think? That alone gives that your wife so much of impetus to contribute their ideas to the family. Keep in mind that women have more social intelligence than men. Women have more social intelligence than men. There are many types of intelligences. There is generational intelligence, how to understand the workings, the modus operandi, modus vivendi of the different generations on the planet. There are people who are of silent generation. There are those who are baby boomers. There are the zoomers. There are the alphas. Now, if the manager does not have any understanding about multi-generational leadership, how are they going to engage people? And therefore, the way to deal with all of these issues in terms of cooperation, we need some refresher courses. Our movement is ripe for all managers to go for refresher courses. And in fact, all senior devotees to go for refresher courses. Because I see so many things going wrong. I'm sorry. I've seen so many things. Because that management is my specialty, and I see so many things going wrong. If you're a manager and then the people are revolting, they're rioting, we don't want you. The best thing is for you to quit. You cannot tell me I don't. It's like I went to one temple, and the way the temple commander behaved to me, I just thought, oh, well, he's the temple commander. He doesn't want me here. So I just decided I would never sleep in that temple. Because if we have something to do with our lives, why should we go into acrimony? Why should we allow people? I had someone told me confidentially, they were talking, there's somebody was talking, one of our leaders was talking to him, that they asked me, they want me to resign. They want me to resign. To resign to do what? To be a taxi driver? Somebody, I think some devotees in some community, they are agitating their leader. They don't want their leader anymore. And so the leader, in a conversation with somebody who was telling me the story, the leader was telling this guy that they want me to resign. To resign to do what? To become a taxi driver? In other words, look, this is the only thing I can do. And he asked him to he asked him to resign for what? If you like kill me, I will not resign. If you like shoot me down, I will not resign. That is the implication of that statement. So the bottom line is that we don't seem to understand how faith-based non-profits are run. Because faith-based non-profit, our movement is called as a faith-based non-profit. And there are ways that faith-based non-profits are run. There are ways that faith-based non-profits are led or managed. Not by autocracy. The person who is leading has to be a good listener. If you're a father, you have to be a good listener. If you're a husband, you have to be a good listener. If you're a wife, you have to be a good listener. Otherwise, that family, there will be cataclysm. There will be no unity. There will be no cooperation. We, in most cases, we are not good listeners. I rather my way or the highway. I am the boss. My way or the highway. This is the problem. This is one of the problems. So, yeah, what the issue you raise is very clear, it's very practical. That people will come to say, and the people who raise out those objections about collective decision making, getting people involved, they don't understand that when people come together to do a particular thing, the result is always greater than a single person doing that same thing and single people doing that same thing and bringing the results together. It's called synergy. Again, that is a scientific model. Leadership is scientific. What type of leadership model that we are using that is creating the unity has to be determined. And there are these things are graphically set down in management science literature. We do not, in most cases, implement leadership models that are applicable to faith-based nonprofits. And so that is why, you see, in the past, in fact, in the beginning of the ISKCON movement, and trusting someone with leadership was based on just trust. They can do Sankirtan very nicely. They can collect money, temple president. They can distribute books very nicely. But our society has grown so much with so much of diversity. We have so much of talents. It's time we woke up to manage the talents effectively and efficiently for higher productivity and performance. That, in most cases, we are not embarking on that. Rather, I am thinking about my ideas, like, you don't want me, so if I give up the position, what do you want me to do? To become a taxi driver?
Jayananda, the same person and then be taxi driver and all money give for Prabhupada, you know? Janana story.
Yeah.
The same person just driving the taxi.
Yes. No, that analogy is just that the person doesn't have anything to do, and you ask him to resign. See, if he asks me, I serve with Sabah. Sabah is advisory body to GBC. Now, the reason why I serve with Sabah is that the then president of Sabah, the chair of Sabah, the Papa disciple, very learned person. I don't know how he got to know me. He called me on the phone. He's from America, from California. He called me on the phone and begged me. We need people like you. We need independent thinkers like you to help with this Sabah. Come and contribute your ideas. Otherwise, Sabah, you have to get an election in your community or in your country or in your region to be able to go to become Sabah. I was just picked up. And I don't want to be a GBC. You know why? Because I have so many things to do. Majority of people in the movement, they don't have my skills. And I want to use my skills in helping to spread Krishna consciousness. Not for pride, just one day at Oxford, I presented 5 research papers in one day, one management science conference. You ask any professor whether they've ever done that, they will say it is impossible. But Krishna used me to do that. So, I have things to do for the rest of my life. To serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to serve the needs of the devotees. Therefore, I prefer to be where I am and then serve in my own little way. But if you are looking for power, be in a position to be able to distribute those energies. Don't take it on yourself, because we have not seen any single tree that made a forest. Have you ever seen any single tree that made a forest? No. So, managing a faith-based non-profit is also like that. What makes this management difficult? People are not being paid. So, you can't command somebody. You command somebody, they will ask you, you feeding me? So it makes this management of a faith-based non-profit difficult, especially with people who don't have the appropriate skills and technologies. And we have a bunch of people who do not have appropriate skills and technology in managing a faith-based non-profit, who are sitting on power or who are struggling, vying for position. This is one of the things that we need to understand. The Prabhupada didn't desire this, but we are creating it. See, if somebody does not have the skills in management, why we have to take monopoly in decision making? If someone doesn't have the skills in management, why don't we embark or follow what is said down in the scientific literature about how to manage and lead a faith-based non-profit? I repeat, you ask any of your leaders, what is the leadership model you're using in running your community, running this movement? I hear what they will tell you. Yes, what's your other question?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, other question. So, you're saying about that we should treat people as spirit souls.
You know why? But otherwise it becomes, that's a term for this. It becomes washing. Washing. Like you put a cloth in the machine for washing. Either, for instance, you take the females, everybody, we are all spirit souls. But you don't treat them like spirit souls. It's called gender washing.
Actually, it's connected what I want.
Pula, tell me.
A little bit controversial maybe, but I will feel free to ask.
Yeah.
So this perspective of what we're saying, as I'm understanding, to treat people as spirit souls, how that connects and what is your perspective to people as spirit souls in right now in female bodies acting as initiating spiritual masters?
Oh. Well, I'm not in a position to make that decision, and whatever I say will not impact on that pending decision.
Yeah, I'm interested in your perspective.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Why not? If the woman is qualified, why not? Yeah.
Like in general.
You see, our mothers act like our gurus. We respect our mothers, but we refuse to respect the women out there. Why? Gender bias. Pathological state of consciousness. Yeah, we respect our mothers, but when we go outside, we belittle other women. Why? So you see, it's very easy to speak good Rasika Baba philosophy. Okay? But then when it comes to this, just implementation of the kindergarten philosophy, we are not his body. That we say no. We're not going to implement it. We're above that. We are transcendental to implementation of the kindergarten philosophy. I find something wrong with that. I find something wrong with us in that respect. You see, people who are supposedly even very learned in religious teachings. You see, one of the things that I never wanted to go and study religion, even in my PhD, is because outside there in the secular world, people don't respect religion. Because religious people are in most cases the cause of all the troubles in society. It's true. And one of the ways that we evaluate people is that they say something, but they act in a different way. So religious people, we are not, and also I tell you one thing, I was born in a Christian family, and I was going to Christian churches. And you know what? Even in high school, I did not register for religion. I did not register for religion. Why? Ask me why. Because I didn't like the way the so-called those who profess to be religious people, even the preachers, how they acted in my own church. The church becomes like the junction for social sex connections. I remember also when I was a young adult, I was working, and I had a friend who was in nursing school. And nursing school, they have the most beautiful girls in the country. So this boy, he told me, hey, my friend, come and be in. He was the president of the Christian association in that nursing school. And then he kept petitioning me that I should come and be a member of that Christian organization. Why was he petitioning me to come? His idea was that there are so many beautiful girls there. You get the best girls in the country. So I thought, what? I know I'm a sinner. Why should I come there to deceive myself? And that same boy, he saw me when I started living in the temple and was going out for preaching. And he saw me one time. I was in a park. He was traveling, incidentally, where I met him. So I went to that park also to preach to people, to distribute books. And then he saw me and he came, started preaching and started talking. Then I remember this guy. So I just pulled him aside from the crowd. and said, "You remember what you told me when you're the president of the, the president in a nursing school Christian association? You remember what you told me? How you came begging me to come, those beautiful girls, and I refused you." He left me, and then he just went away. That's how he went away from that place. So I've seen all these nasty things, and I didn't want to go and waste my time to say I'm representing, I have a PhD in religion. No, I didn't want to do it. Therefore, I wanted to do something that is based on problem-solving orientation, that I can express myself scientifically before people and be problem-solving oriented. And Krishna has given me that impetus. Given me that empowerment. See, on June 28th, 2021, I made a presentation at the World Academy of Science, Engineering and Technology on how chanting Hare Krishna prevents financial fraud. How chanting Hare Krishna prevents financial fraud. The title is Sonic Therapeutic Intervention for Preventing Financial Fraud, a phenomenological study. It's all about how chanting prevents crimes such as financial fraud. It received the Best Presentation Award and was published in the International Journal of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering. Not in the Journal of Religion, not in the Journal of History or Philosophy. International Journal of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering. I'm satisfied with those type of things than having to identify myself as a religious person, and then the religious people are just going about gender washing people. I'm sorry, but this is what we experience sometimes. I have traveled also in Europe, and I've had reports in our temples of abuses, females being abused. And we have lost thousands of dollars in the past when ex-Guru Kulis sued ISKCON. And we paid so much money. Abuse is still going on. So we never learn from even our past mistakes. Time is gone. We might have to stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
He's a feel like woman. Maybe because of that. Just the second.
Yes, ask your question. We are finished.
This is after part. You mentioned, and I like this scientific approach. So, can you tell us more about these models of paid non-profits?
Yeah, one of the ways to lead a non-profit is by utilizing a servant leadership. Servant leadership model, yeah. Yes. Servant leadership is designed for non-profits, faith-based non-profits. Because you see, Krishna also mentioned about leadership in the Bhagavad Gita, being an example, exemplary leadership. And then the point is that even Lord Ramachandra, like I mentioned, he had a cabinet. He had a cabinet. He was not taking decisions, solo. Why? Because he wanted people to have a sense of belonging. When you get people involved, then there'll be growth, there'll be high performance, there'll be high productivity. If we have to do it alone, people think that, he thinks that he knows better than anybody else. All right, I won't cooperate with him. I won't do this. They just want to agitate you. But if they are part of the system, they will go out their way to see how they can help. This is the simple secret. Even see, if you have children at home, try to mentor. Be autocratic. And then choose the other side of being a servant leader. Even a 12 years old child, even 10 years old child, ask them what they want. Even a 5 years old child, ask what they want to eat instead of imposing what you want them to eat on them. And you see the relationship will be different. It means you're giving them a breathing space. You love them. You care. Yeah, that's how it works. Yes.
I have an example. We have 2 kids, my wife, and when we, in one point, decide to give them money that they can buy their own clothes, what they like, then they buy and wear that. But when before that we were without for them, of course, I don't want to wear that. It's a simple thing, but this is the principle. What
you're saying, I had that experience when I was a child.
Yeah.
Whatever my parents would buy for me, no, I would take. So then they decide that, all right, take him to the mall, let him make the selection, take him to the tailor, let him make the selection about the clothes he wants, about the size and everything. It's a simple technique on how to create harmony. We should not impose ourselves on people. You see, Krishna says, Tam Titiksha Swabharata. Now, how many of us are implementing that in our lives? Say, your wife says something you don't like, something that hurts you. Do you tolerate?
Almost every day.
Your child is bound to say something hurtful to you. He's bound to say something you don't like. Do we tolerate? Or we want to assume that, look, I am the boss. Who are you to tell me this? We don't, even a simple thing, Tantra teaches us, we don't implement it. And we want them to live and grow as adults and remember us as loving parents. Students are a different type of breed. I'll give you an example. So the way we treat our child will determine how they relate with us when they grow and become independent. So you are not treating them nicely. They just plan to finish from college and move to another country or move to another state. And by the time you call them, oh, your sister or your cousin is getting married, so we're inviting you to come. You say, Mom, yes. I'll be there, for sure. Tomorrow is the day. He calls you or she calls you this night and says, I have an emergency in the office. There is nothing like that. There is no my emergency. It is remembering how you treated him. It's time to pay back. This is the way the world is run. And I've seen cases where parents just come and complain about they're 25 years old or 35 years old. And I studied these things in my master's degree. So I just turn to the parents and say, you did this, you did this, you did this. They ask me sometimes, how did you know? I say, I studied these things. Parents, in most cases, we are a terrible breed. Terrible breed. We don't accept responsibility for our failures. When we do a mistake, we hardly will tell our child, I'm sorry. We think we are always right. It hasn't got to be like that. And when you talk to people, they say, but Maharaj, my parents trained me in this way. I never learned about these things. Okay, can 2 wrongs make it right? No. Just because you don't know, you don't learn it, and you are treating your child like that, or you're treating your spouse in that way, does it create a positive change? No. In fact, right now, I'm in a campaign. I call myself a grassroots activist. I encourage people I encourage people to go and get some classes or some courses before even they get married or before even they start having children. Because people have children, they don't understand. In most cases, they don't have any idea about child developmental psychology. And then the child becomes like an object of experiment. And how many of you, before you got married, you understand the psychology of the opposite sex? You're a woman, did you have anything about this? Understand anything about psychology of a man? Or you're a man, do you understand anything about psychology of a woman? In most cases, no. You just have money, you just have a big building, a big car, and you want to settle down, and that's it. And you have to experiment on this person. Good for you. We need to change, We need to change. All right. Yes.
Okay, you said about, but there is if we create some wrong culture, then also that social pressure of that wrong culture impetus in the devotional life in a wrong way.
It affects us, yeah.
Yes. So anything about it?
Yeah, whatever we do, it affects our devotional life. If we treat people nicely, even our family, if our family members are not happy, say your wife is not happy, you're not going to be happy. No. You may pretend that you're happy, but no, right down inside you, you're not happy. Because the closest person to you, you hurt them, and they feel disoriented. And because the environment impacts on values, that is part of your environment, and that impacts on you. And therefore, it is always good to be fair. If someone does something wrong you don't like, tolerate first, call them, speak to them in a loving way to reconcile with that problem, instead of thinking you're very tolerant and then the thing is on your mind or on your consciousness for days and months and years. So yeah, each time we get into a wrong mood, it affects our devotional service. We hurt somebody. If you hurt your child, it affects your devotional service. So devotional service is science. And it begins, when we talk about loving devotional service, it begins with people around us. The way we treat the Guru, the way we love Krishna, the way we serve Krishna, that's exactly the same way we should serve and love everybody around us. Otherwise, we will not make sustainable, rapid progress. You see, material life is not easy. Marriage is the most difficult aspect of life. And to be a grihastha is the most difficult thing. To be married, anybody can get married, but to be a grihastha is very, very difficult. If you are a grihastha, at the end of this life, you'll be going back to Godhead. Oh yes, I'm serious.
I believe.
You can marry, but if to be a grihastha is more difficult than being a Swami. To be a grihastha is more difficult than being a Swami. Prabhupada is here, I'm telling you. You can marry, but to be a grihastha, I repeat, is more difficult than anything you can think of. And so if you don't understand the challenges that we are facing, we can just put on a mask and think that, or say that, we are fine. All right, we stop there.
I don't know how long you will stay here. Can I
Again,
have something like now?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Okay. Now?